It's our turn, episode number 61. Happy New Year! In this special episode, Sarah Reed, Sarah Graybill, Frank Vicari, John Shulters, Mark Ford, and I talk about what we're looking forward to doing and playing in 2018.
This is the Dice Tower Network, adding games to your wish list since 2005.
Hosting for this episode is generously provided by our fantastic patrons on patreon.com. As a thank you to our patrons, we post extra exclusive content just for them. If you'd like to help us out by pledging $1 per month or more, please visit patreon.com/OurTurnPodcast. Every dollar helps to keep this show going strong. Hi, and welcome back to Our Turn. I'm Cathy Ford, and today I am joined by a whole passel of people. Sitting around the table with me today, I have Frank Vicari, Sarah Reed, Will Reed, John Shulters, Sarah Graybill, and my husband, Mark Ford. And we are all here together at Sarah's house, Sarah and Will's house, for our Christmas party and to record an episode. So welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining me and recording this today. And thank you, Sarah and Will, for hosting.
Well, we're happy to have everybody over.
Well, fantastic. So we usually start out the episode by talking about what we've been playing lately. So, Sarah, why don't you go ahead and start us off and tell us what you've been playing lately?
Okay. Recently, Will and I got to play Yokohama. It's designed by Hisashi Hayashi, published by Tasty Minstrel Games. It plays 2 to 4 players in about 90 minutes. So Yokohama is set in the Meiji era, where Yokohama was changing from a simple fishing village into a bustling international harbor. So exports are going out to fulfill orders, but also foreign technology and culture is coming in. The players are all merchants trying to run the most successful business, and there are a lot of ways to do that, as any good point salad game does. So mechanically, this is a Euro-style worker placement and resource management game. So the main part of Yokohama is this modular main board that's randomly set up. This affects a lot in the game because you have to move your president meeple around the board to take different actions. But it's not just a simple pick up and place workers anywhere kind of game. There's an aspect of route building. You have secondary workers called assistants that literally help your president do things. For one, you can't move your president onto a board if it doesn't have an assistant there. Second, when you take an action with your president, the effect is made better by the number of assistants you have on the board. So you have to manage placing your assistants as well as moving your president in an effective path so as not to waste your time. Now, those actions you take on the boards are what you need to gain more points in the game. Many of the spaces give you resources that you can turn in to claim orders, which provide you in-game bonuses and victory points. You can also buy technology cards, which change how you do things. The Church and Customs Office allows you to trade in a variety of goods and imports to, again, gain you benefits, but most importantly, you place assistants on those boards and score victory points for majority at the end of the game. There's also this set collection aspect of foreign agents. You not only get bonus points at the end of the game for having different sets of foreign agent icons on your cards, but when you have a foreign agent token, you can use it to take an extra action on your turn, which can be critical in getting ahead. There's a lot more to the game, but that's the essence, and I quite enjoyed it. It's very solid, and I'm happy that Will can do the route building part since it's a simple movement from board to board, though it does take some time to get the order of the board down since that does change each game. I'm quite pleased with the deluxe edition. They made it specifically for this game rather than an add-on like they've done with previous games, so there's no extra cardboard bits and all the wooden shapes are incorporated smoothly. I give Yokohama a solid 4 out of 5. Will, what do you think?
Well, it's a Euro game for sure, because, well, it's worker placement, route building, everything you'd expect. And it has some nice player interaction in the fact that if you have to go through another president, you pay them money. So it's a nice interaction without being a punishing mechanism. No matter how efficient I played this game, I could not beat Sarah. It was. I tried every which way. I actually played different strategies, and both of them felt like I was killing the game. Sarah was intimidated. I was letting it rain. That was probably my problem. I probably lost some money in that. But overall, I agree with you. It's a 4 out of 5 game, solid. Will definitely stay on our shelves for quite some time.
Yeah, I picked up the Kickstarter version of this myself, but I haven't had a chance to have it hit the table yet. I'm really looking forward to getting this. All the reviews I've read about this says this is an amazing game.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And I hope you get to play it soon.
Yeah, I got to play this with my friends Scott and Jean and Dave, and I thought it was a fantastic game. I don't know that it's one that I would go out and get for myself, but if someone put it on the table and said, let's play, I'd definitely be up for it.
Yeah, we played it earlier at KublaCon this year, and had a pretty good experience with it. It's got some replayability in how you set up the board with those tile locations and all that. And there's definitely a lot of opportunity for scoring wildly different amounts of points in different areas. And so that's kind of how I picked out my first strategy, is I just kind of looked around all these options of how you're scoring points. And I think I saw like a 40 sitting somewhere, and I'm like, ooh, okay, well, this game looks heavier than maybe I'll be apt to pull off in a first playthrough. But it's like, I'll set a miniature goal of just scoring that 40 point tile before anyone else does. And it actually led to my victory in that game.
Oh, nice.
So it was an interesting playthrough.
I think that's how it kept Sarah in the lead on both games. Is she did the exact same thing. It's like this warehouse board, and at the very end of it, if you spend all your trade goods for it, you get this massive amount of points. And I just keep forgetting it's there.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those games where there's lots to do, but you can't do everything. So it's good to focus on a few things and then prioritize from there.
Very nice. And so that's Yokohama.
Yep, Yokohama, and Will and I both give it a 4 out of 5. It will definitely be staying in our collection, and looking forward to playing it again.
Excellent. So the game that I want to talk about today is called Pairs, and this is a fun little filler card game with fruit. Each card has a number and a fruit on it. And there's one pair, and then for the 2s, there are 2 cards that have 2 on them. And then for the 3s, there are 3 cards that have 3 on them. They all have the same fruit on it. You know, the 3s all have the same fruit, the 2s all have the same fruit, etc. And it goes up through 10, and there are 10 10s. And the way it's played is everybody gets dealt a card, and then you get dealt a second card, and you get to decide, well, if it matches, then you have to score those cards. And you're going for lowest score here, not highest score. And if it doesn't match, you can decide to get another card. You can say, hit me, and get another card. And if that doesn't match, you have the choice. It's a push your luck game for sure. And you're trying not to score. So if you get a pair, you're going to score. So there's not much danger of getting another 2 or another 3 if you've already got one of those in your hand. But if you get dealt a 10, there's a pretty big chance that you're going to get a 10. So it's a quick little game. It takes like 10 minutes to play. And you're playing do you remember what the score was?
I believe it was 16.
I'm not remembering exactly what the score was, but you play until you run out of cards, basically. It was a fun game. We played it a couple of times at a game day the other day, and it's just a neat little filler game. Anybody can play it. Have any of you ever played Pairs?
Yeah, we actually got to play it with James Ernest, right? We got to play an early version of it, and yeah, it comes out a lot. As you said, it's a great filler game, so it comes out a lot.
Well, it's billed as a pub-style game.
Pub game, exactly.
And aren't there like a lot of different themed versions?
Yeah, there's a lot of themed versions and a lot of variants, right? I haven't played too many of the variants, but
because I was looking into this, because I was kind of curious for my group at work, and there's like 5 or 6 different versions, and each theme then has its own variant version to it. I kind of wish you could get just one set and had all of the variants, but
yeah, in the base version of the game, it's really a fantastic sort of gateway experience for new gamers to the hobby market, right? Because it's very low stress, because depending on how many players you play with, and I believe it supports quite a few players.
Yeah, it does. We were playing it with 6 or 8 people.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the whole shtick of the game is that there is just one loser. There's not one winner. There is only one loser. So it takes that stress out of, like, you know, if you don't have a very competitive group, you can just play very lightly, very quickly, and then, you know, someone will end up
Whoever's got the
short
highest
end,
score is the loser.
right,
Yeah.
but everyone
okay.
else will kind of sail through and be happy with their performance. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
But even the loser could feel like, oh, well, I still had the highest score, so that's not too bad in most games. But my question is, since it's pears and it's fruit, is it PAIRS or PEARS?
PAIRS.
Okay,
But
pears.
the fruit on the one card is a PEAR.
Ah,
Yeah.
Okay.
One of the things about this game that got me and I enjoyed is that when you decide whether or not you hit, if you don't hit, you score the lowest card currently up on the table. And if you decide that's too big and you hit when you've got a 10, which by the way is an onion, some fruit. I mean, yeah. And you hit too often, you're going to be crying. Because let me tell you, folks, it's one of those games. It's got a big, heavy dose of push your luck, but it's not one of those, okay, I've had 37 straight turns. Do I dare go for 38? It's, okay, I've got this card. Do I dare hit it or not? And I found it amazingly.
Well, then the onion is very thematic there.
Appealing. Fruit, yeah.
Well, cool. Then it looks like something we might want to pick up soon.
Yeah, I think this is one that I want to add to our collection too, just because you can quite literally play this with anybody.
Is it all face-up open information?
Yes.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And you can play this once or twice or 5 times, so, whatever, until you're ready to go on. And it's also a great palate cleanser when you've played a heavier game and you want to take a break from playing a heavy game to play something a little lighter. We had just finished playing a 2.5-hour game of Firefly, which is really a short game for Firefly. And so then we played pairs while we were waiting for people to go to the restroom and figure out what we were going to play next. And then we sat down, we played a couple of more games. And then to close off the evening, we pulled pairs back out again and played it again. And it was a great way to end the evening. So I think I'm going to give this one a 5. I think this is one that we need to add to our collection, and it's just a lot of fun. So that's pairs.
I also wanted to make note that it's also really good for people who have vision issues, because not only are the numbers big and clear,
That's great.
they spell out the 6 instead of the 9 is normal, but they spell out the 6. And they also have the names of the fruit on the cards. So you have a card that's particular color scheme with a number 10
Oh, that's
and
great.
onion on
That's
it.
really good.
So if you can't read one, you can probably read the other.
Cool. Very cool.
Yeah, it's really, really nice piece of work. I mean, it was well done.
All right, Sarah, what have you played lately?
Well, I want to talk about Exit the Game, one of the new versions of that, The Forbidden Castle. That's something that we played a couple weeks ago. I played with my husband, John, and our friend, Jesse. And I really like escape rooms in general. I like puzzly games. I like the unlock and exit and escape the room, the games. So when the new set of Exit the Games came out, I picked up all 3 and I was looking forward to playing this one. This one was pretty challenging for us, so I don't know that we performed all that well, but it was still a pretty fun experience. I can't talk about too many of the puzzles because I don't want to give away any spoilers, but it had some new things. This is, I think, the 2nd series, so I think they've released 3 previously, and this is in the new series of 3. So we've played them all, and they're still managing to do new things. This is designed by Inca Brand and Marcus Brand, published by Cosmos, and they're still managing to do new things and solve puzzles in creative and fun ways. Some of them are very, very frustrating, but many of them have a fun twist and something clever. So again, it wasn't my favorite of the Exit the Game series. I'll give it a 3.5 out of 5, just again because the experience was fun and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do next. And in general, the Exit games are my favorite escape the room in a box series. I think they really evoke that feeling of being in the room, and they have a really clever mechanism for making sure you don't accidentally solve a puzzle. The way that you pull out the puzzles and kind of check yourself is a 2-part system, so it's a kind of fail-safe method, so you can make sure you've really gotten the right answer at the right time and haven't accidentally navigated to something else. And I think that that's really clever. I can't imagine the planning that goes into setting that up, but it's really, really fun and a good experience. And overall, I really liked it.
Future Mark here. It was at this point that the gremlins of audio passed, got hungry, and decided to eat the rest of our opening segment. And that's what we've been playing.
You've heard us referring to and rating games by a rating scale. Here's how we're using this scale. 1. Give me back the time I spent playing it. 2. Has great potential as kindling. 3. Decent with some bugs. 4. A good, solid game. And 5. Buy this now. Happy New Year! Hi, everybody. And for today's hot topic, we are talking about things we're looking forward to in 2018. So, Sarah, do you want to go ahead and start us off?
Yeah, sure. I'm sure most people who are following the podcast know that I'm very, 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 very excited to go to Origins next year. So, yeah, I'm just really excited. I'm really just looking forward to meeting people that I've gotten to know online. I have so many interactions with people, and I don't know what they look like. I don't know what they sound like. And I just I'm going to go and meet a bunch of people, forget everyone's name, but it's going to be cool anyway. I'm terrible with names, so I apologize in advance. But I'm just really looking forward to hanging out, networking. I mean, it's going to be really special for Will and I because we're going to be staying with our friends Noreen and Owen, who I've been doing my iGame nights with for the last almost 2.5 years. I got to know Noreen on the Women in Gaming forum on Board Game Geek. And so we've gotten really close. And like I said, we use FaceTime, so it's just audio. So we're talking every Wednesday while we play either digital games, or we even have played a lot of the roll and writes. And so now we'll finally be able to sit down around the table face to face and play games. And I'm just really excited. I'm just so grateful they opened their house. We don't one less thing we have to pay for. And we're going to go early. We're going to go Sunday night before. So just in case my back goes really bad, I have a couple of days to recover, and then we can just hang out because they said they take off the whole week from work. So they just hang out. And so we can just hang out with them, play games, and then just really enjoy the con. And I expect to totally crash afterwards, but that's okay. Kickstarter wise, I don't know. I always backing a lot of stuff. I don't think anything right now is as big as like waiting for Seventh Continent, but I'm sure there'll be some really great things coming out. Will, did you want to talk about our game design stuff?
Yeah. So, well, one of the sad things is that Sarah and I have been publishing games with our friend Ben Haskett with Project Dreamscape in Oaxaca. And, well, ever since he had a second daughter, life's got a little busy for him, which means that if we want to continue designing, we need to talk to other publishers. And most recently, we've been making connections and actually meeting and having conversations with Dan from Let A Man Games and Carla from Weird Giraffe Games. And it's actually kind of exciting to talk to more people because our very first meeting with Dan, we showed him a roll and write game, and he just threw out a couple of suggestions which kind of blew my mind when we implemented them because I just love what he suggested. So having the opportunity of, as Sarah said, going out and seeing people, putting faces to names and such is exciting. And we're already starting to do it. We just barely touched on it at the end of this year. So next year, we're probably going to have a lot more conversations.
Excellent. That's going to be a lot of fun. I think you're going to have a great time there. Sarah and John, what have you guys got on your plate for 2018?
One thing, I'm excited for all of 2018 and what's going to happen there, but from a game design and development standpoint, I'm really looking forward to the release of Spy Club. That's a game that we've been doing development on with Foxtrot Games for the past year or so. It was on Kickstarter in 2017 and funded, so it'll be released in 2018. And we've been having just so much fun getting these last few modules designed and ready to go, and we're really excited to share it with the world. So see what everybody else thinks and see what happens when they have these unique things that come out, these unique modules. So if you've maybe heard me talk about it on this podcast before, but Spy Club is a cooperative game for 2 to 4 players where you're playing kid detectives solving crimes around your neighborhood. So in each game, you're trying to solve the different aspects of the crime. You're trying to solve who committed the crime, what the crime is, where it was committed, an object that was involved, and the motive. The twist of the game is that after you've done your first one, you kind of unlock content based on what your mystery was that you solved the first time, and you unlock new content that will shape future games. You'll unlock a new module that'll have a new thing for you to do, or new characters, or a new way that something is solved. Basically just little twists every single time you play the game, and it'll change the story and how that story is told. So we are just really eager to share it with the world. It will hopefully be out around the middle of the year. So we'll get a lot of good opportunities to play it with people at various conventions. Excited to get it to the printer and across the finish line. It is on Board Game Geek has a list of anticipated games for 2018, and Spy Club is on that list. So if you're interested, check it out and help bring it even higher on that list. Give it some thumbs and check it out. Or you can also look it up on spyclubgame.com, and there's an overview there. You can check out the Kickstarter page just to learn more about it. There's how to play videos or overview videos there, so you can learn more about the game too. John, do you have anything else you want to add?
Well, 2017 was a really great year, not just for us, but for a lot of our other designer friends in our community here locally and across the country. And I know both Sarah and I and some friends of ours signed contracts for games this year. And
congratulations.
Thank you very much. So
that's exciting.
We're looking forward a lot to kind of, seeing how these production processes go, how it works, like Sarah and Will are delving into working with different publishers, because they all operate differently. They all have different motivations and aspirations. And thankfully, we have been traveling around to a lot of conventions all across the country. And the reason we stick with this industry is because it's filled with such wonderful people. And so we're really fortunate to be working with Fireside Games, who's the publisher of Castle Panic is their biggest game. So our game that might be coming out in 2018, we're not exactly sure on a date yet for that, but it was formerly known as Barricado, so some of the listeners might be familiar or have played it at a playtest session somewhere around California, but it will most certainly have a new name and a new look and all of that, but the game itself should be intact, and we're excited to see that come out. So, and also rooting for a lot of our friends that also had contracts signed and looking forward to their games. And not just because they're in the room, but I'm personally really excited for our super deluxe version of Oaxaca that we
it's funny. I was just thinking about we talked about Origins and other games. We totally forgot to say about Oaxaca. So yeah, Oaxaca should be coming out hopefully around March. It's spring. Everything so far is on track, and we just saw the beautiful play mats. And Will and I are storing the figurines. We have all the Alabrije. I don't
That's
speak.
close enough.
Yeah, close enough.
Thank you.
Anyway, so we have all of the hand-carved figurines from Oaxaca, Mexico, and we're storing them. And so, it's coming along well, and I'm excited too. So I'm glad you're excited too.
Yeah, very nice. And this year will be our first Origins as well, so we'll be looking forward to seeing you there.
That'd be cool.
Yep.
That'd be cool.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. I'm jealous because we're not going to be able to make it to Origins, but we're looking at maybe trying to get to Board Game Geek Con. So we've never been to that either. But the other thing that we're excited about is that we're working on putting together a convention here in Sacramento. And that is going to be a big undertaking.
Oh, yeah.
So stay tuned for more news on that. We're going to create a nonprofit organization to give back to the Sacramento community, and it's tentatively called Your Turn Events. And when we suggested the name, we said we've got Our Turn Podcast, and our sign-off is, that was our turn, now it's yours. So how about your turn events for the con? And everybody thought it was a great idea and just kind of blew me away when they said, yeah, that's a great idea. Let's do that. So that's consuming quite a bit of our time right now, in addition to putting out the podcast and just playing games. So it's going to be a big adventure this year. And then Mark and I are both re-entering the job market, looking for new jobs. And so that's going to be a big adventure as well.
More like a challenge, but yes, I agree with you. The idea that the con is being named Your Turn just works so well. Coming soon. It really is your turn at the Your Turn Gaming Weekend. As far as games go, though, there's a couple that I'm looking forward that have either had recent street dates or have sold out so fast that they're still out of print. Doctor Who Time of the Daleks, the Doctor Who board game from Gale Force 9. Looking really forward to getting a copy of that. Sagrada, the stained glass window game. So that one, for some reason, is singing to me. It's saying, I must be yours. and of course, my wallet is going, what are you thinking? But yeah, 2018 is looking to be a very busy year. And, you know, after the 2017 that most of us have had, it can't help but be better.
And Frank, what about you?
Well, in February, I have the con that I like to go to a lot. DundraCon is coming up, 16 to 19 February. We'll always look forward to it every year. I have a lot of friends of mine that I meet, so I'll be doing lots of gaming and such. And I have a bunch of Kickstarters. I'm almost as bad as Sarah is when it comes to Kickstarter. Almost.
Not quite, but almost.
One of the ones I've got looking forward to is the Nemo's War. They just closed their Kickstarter out. They're doing an expansion, and one of the levels of the pledge had a couple of token bags that were going to be included. So I kicked it at that level, so I'll be looking forward to that. D-Day Dice, which I mentioned also, I had a chance to get the demo copy of D-Day Dice 2nd Edition, and I went ahead and kickstarted that as well, so I'm really looking forward to that. The Networks has a Kickstarter coming out for their expansion, the Executives and On the Air, that'll be coming out soon.
Woohoo!
Oh yeah, I enjoy Networks. It's a very, very fun game. Also doing a reissue of Deep Space D6, which I'm going to start getting into more of the print and play games for my solo reviews. So I'll be doing a review of that when it comes down the road. Role Player's got an expansion that's coming out next year. I kickstarted that as well. I don't own Role Player, so I have to wait to get my base copy of the game when the expansion comes out. Go figure. So I'll do my review about that coming up. But there are a lot of games that came out that are supposed to come out in 2018 that I'm really looking forward to hitting the table and doing reviews for.
Speaking of games that are coming out on Kickstarter, there's one I just remembered. Sometime in Q1 of 2018, Steve Jackson Games is going to be kicking off a Kickstarter for a reprint of what could very easily be called Ye Old Space board game, a game called Triplanetary. And I've heard of it. I've heard that it's one of those games where if you own it, take very good care of it because you'll be playing it a lot. And if Steve Jackson Games does as good a job with an old game like Triplanetary as they did with an old game like Ogre, this could be something really amazing. I don't even know how complex Triplanetary is. Apparently this was before even my time. And, so which basically means it was probably the original copy was probably carved on a stone tablet. But it's one of those things I'm looking forward to. Steve Jackson Games, when they do board games, they don't do them very often, but when they do, they pretty well do a pretty darn good job of it. So that's another thing I'm looking forward to.
One of the other things that I'm looking forward to, particularly since I was successful at doing it this year, was working on another gaming challenge. Are any of you doing gaming challenges this year?
Oh, yeah. I'll be doing the normal 10 by 10. And then, of course, we still have a really long list. As much as this year we did make progress on getting our unplayed games played, we still have a long way to go because we can't stop buying games. So that's just not going to happen. So we just have to keep up on it.
I'm actually tracking my plays for the first time in history. Started doing that a couple of weeks ago. And I think I'm going to take baby steps on this because I've seen somebody I know, love, and know where she sleeps, doing a lot of stressing out over how can I find a game with an hourglass to complete a particular challenge? I don't think I'm quite ready for that much stress in my gaming life right now. But, I'll probably be at it sometime soon.
How about you two? Do you do gaming challenges at all?
Most of our challenges are design challenges.
That's fair.
Those are hard enough as they are.
That's fair.
Yeah, and as much as we've been focusing on pitching to publishers and going sort of the traditional publishing route, Kickstarter has announced that again this year they're doing the Make 100 event, which is specifically kind of a small run Kickstarter campaign where there'll only be 100 backers for your campaign, right? There's a hard limit on that. So it's basically an endeavor to get makers of all kinds, get their creative juices flowing and say, hey, that thing that you maybe didn't think about doing, why don't you try to do it, and see if 100 people will support you. So all of the Make 100 projects will be kicking off in January.
Oh, really?
And so we've decided to pull out one of our games that we hadn't planned to pitch to publishers, and so we're going to do our own Kickstarter campaign this year. So that'll happen sometime in January. We haven't set the specific dates for it yet. But the name of that game is called Oblique, Oblik.
Interesting.
Nice.
Now, as I understand it, not being a game designer myself, there's also one that is apparently endemic to all of you, the GP challenge. GP standing for getting paid.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah, well, fortunately, we accomplished that challenge this year. We feel really good about it.
Oh, very good.
Yes, but what does 2018 hold? Dun, dun, dun.
We'll see how well Spy Club does when it hits the shelves.
All right. And Frank, are you going to do any game challenges this year?
Probably not this year. I've got a lot on my plate as it is right now, so I probably won't be able to do any challenges this year.
Okay. Well, I'm definitely going to be doing the 52 game challenge again. I just have a lot of fun with that.
Poor Mark.
Yes. Okay. So where do we find a game with a left-handed spork? Not a right-handed spork, mind you.
Well, the other thing that I was contemplating doing was the 100 by 1 challenge where you play 100 games one time. So planning to use the BG Stats app for that. They just recently released a expansion for that app that allows you to track your board game challenges. So I'm going to give that a try and see how that goes.
100 games one time.
Yeah, it's about the diversity.
We just barely got your 52 game challenge done this
Well, the
year.
neat thing is they can overlap. So
Yes, but that's still 48 more games.
Tic-tac-toe. What am I holding in my hand? What's behind my back? What's in my pockets? These games we can knock out right here, right now.
it'll be fun.
For Cathy.
Isn't that what Napoleon said just before he invaded Rome?
And if you said left-handed spork,
right.
you were right.
All right. So what have you got on your plate for 2018? Please come to Facebook or Board Game Geek and let us know in the thread for this episode. We'd love to hear about it and cheer you on.
The Dice Tower Network is a proud supporter of the Jack Vassell Memorial Fund. The board gaming community is kind and generous, and this fund was created to provide financial assistance to members of the board gaming community in their time of need. If your game is turned upside down and you need assistance, please visit jackvassell.org/apply. Find out how we can help.
So now we're getting to the part of the episode where we're winding things down and looking ahead to what we've got on our plate for the next couple of weeks. Sarah and Will, what have you got going?
All right, well, as usual, we overplan ourselves. So we're having friends over New Year's Eve weekend. So Friday and Saturday, people are coming over. But we did reserve that Sunday and Monday to ourselves. But like I said, we've been talking more to Carla, and so we might Skype and just play some games, just kind of hang out and get to know her. So that'd be really fun. And then starting at the beginning of January, we've got the game design meeting. And what are we taking, Will?
We're taking Until Proven Guilty, which we've worked How long ago was that?
It was the end of 2016 was the last time we play tested it.
Yeah, because we had John and Sarah actually take it to a few.
Yeah, we took it to the San Jose Protospiel event.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got lots of good feedback and completely forgot to make any of the changes. So a couple weeks ago, we decided, hey, since we're talking to various publishers, let's get whatever we have ready. Cleaned up that one. It played very well 2-player, so we're going to see about it at the next game designer meeting. Probably also meet with our role-playing group for a change, which has been like months.
Yeah, it's been several months. The schedules have been crazy.
We're planned out till March, let's just say.
Pretty much.
So that's us.
All right. And Sarah and John, what have you got going on?
Well, in addition to just holiday get-togethers and all-day game days planned with some people who are trying to sort of chip away at our wall of shame, which is the unopened, unplayed games on the shelf, we fortunately have a lighter schedule convention-wise at the start of the year. Our conventions don't start. You mentioned DunderCon in the previous segment, and that's they have a really great designer Protospiel event there.
Oh, yeah, I always look forward to going to the Protospiels, a chance to see what the designers are coming up with.
Yeah, it's a great local convention, so I highly recommend it. So that'll be the first thing we're kind of gearing up for, and then Unpub in March. But in the first part of January, unfortunately, a convention we did go to last year and helped run their game library, and unfortunately can't do it this year, but SAC Anime happens here in Sacramento at the Convention Center, and that's on January 5th through 7th. So if you're around, definitely check that out. They have a lot of, it's a great just general nerd con, right? There's lots of comics and films and TV and games there. They pull together some really great panels at that convention. So that's a fun one to go to. But other than that, it's mostly wrapping up Spy Club module development by the end of this year. And then we enter into heavy playtesting phase before it goes to the printer in March. And other than that, it's just staying connected with our publishers and trying to keep everything on track.
Great. And Frank?
Well, convention season for me is starting us also with DunderCon in February, and then Conquest Sacramento coming up in March, so I'm looking forward to both of those. Also trying to get some of my Wall of Shame played and get some more reviews out there as well. Target for today. I got Runebound also. Looking forward to picking up the expansion for Runebound that has solo play and doing a review of that as well. That one will take a while to do. But mostly just trying to relax and get together with some of my friends. I hear someone's got a Firefly RPG coming up that unfortunately my schedule has kept me away from, so I'm going to see if I can get out of my bunk for that.
Yeah, his character has been in his bunk for the last couple of sessions, so it'll be nice to have you back playing that. Mark and I have, like we said, we've got our job hunting adventure coming up for us, and then lots of our turn and your turn events, but just getting together with friends, having fun. That's what we enjoy doing most. That and playing with our dogs.
Yeah, scouring the galaxy for artifacts that someone else can sell. And looking forward to getting together with our D&D group being run by Doc Cross. Hi, Doc. And just basically, finding a job has got to be priority because my health is finally back to where I can actually do things again. Like I said, 2017 can go die in a fire as far as I'm concerned.
More ways than one.
But just looking forward to getting started. There are a couple of times coming up that I might be seen as the odd co-host on the Our Turn podcast, and I'm looking forward to that, and just basically looking to turn over a new year. Like I said, 2018 has got to be better than 2017. Of course, we were saying that about 2017 being better than 2016, and it didn't work out too well either. So anyway, optimism is eternal. Or so Cathy tells me. And, the times like that when I tend to listen to my wife. What can I say? But that's what I'm looking forward to. How about you?
Excellent. Well, so we'd love to hear what you're looking forward to in 2018. Again, you can always come to facebook.com/OurTurnPodcast and let us know what's going on there. And Sarah usually responds to that. And then you can also come to Board Game Geek Guild number 2600, and I'm the one that posts there and responds there. So either way is fine. Both ways are great. Sarah and John, how can people get a hold of you online?
The easiest way is either at our website, blackstrawgames.com, or Facebook or Twitter at blackstrawgames.
Okay. And Sarah?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at EurogamerGirl. I'm on there quite a lot. And unfortunately, social media eludes Will. It's a little difficult for his vision. But if you ever have any questions for Will, you can always tag me and I'll pass them along. So, yeah.
Okay. And Frank?
Well, I'm usually found on Twitter at Talisian, Talisean. Also on Instagram as well. Sometimes I'll be posting out at the Guild out of Board Game Geek and also on the Solitaire Games of Your Month thread as well.
And Mark?
Well, other than, of course, passing messages through my lovely and talented wife, Cathy. Lovely and talented, however, is a registered trademark, by the way. You can find me on Twitter at The Amused Geek. As in, I used to be disgusted, now I'm just amused.
And you can find me mostly on the at Our Turn Podcast Twitter account, but I also have my own Twitter account, which is at Cathy's Brain, and that's Cathy with a C. And then, of course, on Board Game Geek as Cathy's Brain. So, all right. Until next time, on behalf of the entire Our Turn Podcast crew, that was our turn.
Now it's yours.
Thank you for listening. This episode was recorded on December 23rd, 2017, and is written and produced by Cathy Ford, Sarah Reed, Sarah Graybill, Frank Vicari, John Shulters, and Mark Ford. Next time, we'll discuss intellectual property games. We want and encourage your questions, comments, and feedback. Please call 916-426-2873 and leave us a short voicemail or send an email to feedback@ourturnpodcast.com. Our theme music was composed by Adriana Crickle. Incidental music was provided by Ben Sound. Please check out our show notes to learn more about these talented artists. The material in this episode is copyrighted under Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives 4.0 International License. If you want to learn more about the games discussed in this episode, please visit our website at ourturnpodcast.com/episode 61. You can find a list of the games along with links to their listing on BoardGameGeek.com. We are a proud member of the Dice Tower Network. You can find out about other shows in the network like Rolling Dice and Taking Names, The Geek All-Stars, or the D6 Generation by going to DicetowerNetwork.com. Thank you for your support. If you like what you heard, please tell your friends about us.